The galaxy gave up on them, but humanity refused to walk away. The edge of the galaxy was quiet in a way that felt wrong. Planets that had once been full of life now floated empty in the dark. Star systems that had shone brightly were now little more than dead lights. The Galactic Council had made a decision. These sectors were abandoned. They were no longer worth the effort. Many species had been left behind, alone and dying, as their allies packed up and left. Humans, however, were different. They did not follow orders blindly. They did not walk away when others were in need. Captain Ethan Cole stood on the bridge of the human observation ship Horizon Dawn. He looked out at the empty space ahead. The stars seemed dimmer here. The sector had once been bustling with trade and travel. Now it was quiet. Too quiet. Behind him, Science Officer Lucy Adams studied the data screens, her brow furrowed. "Captain," she said softly, "these readings show multiple life signs on the planet below. They are weak, but they are alive." Ethan leaned closer, scanning the holographic display. Tiny dots flickered in clusters, scattered across ruined cities. Smoke still rose from collapsed buildings. There were survivors, but they were few. And they were alone. "The Council said this sector is lost," Ethan said. He shook his head. "They ordered evacuation months ago. Every other ship left weeks ago. We should follow orders." Lucy looked up, her eyes full of determination. "Orders do not mean this is right. These people did nothing to deserve being abandoned." Ethan sighed. He had been trained to follow the chain of command. Disobedience was a serious matter, but humanity had never been just about following orders. It had always been about choice and courage and doing what was right, even when it was dangerous. He thought about the reports of alien colonies destroyed by warlords, of starving children, of families hiding in ruins. He thought about his own daughter, miles away on Earth. The thought of leaving these people to die made his stomach turn. "Prepare the landing party," he said finally. "We are not leaving them behind." Moments later, Jack Morris, a young engineer with quick hands and a braver heart, and medic Claire Bennett, steady and calm under pressure, suited up. They joined Ethan and Lucy on the shuttle that would take them down to the planet's surface. The descent was rough. The shuttle shook as it passed through the planet's thin atmosphere. Below them, buildings crumbled, streets were empty, and fires burned in scattered areas. As the shuttle touched down, a small group of aliens emerged from the shadows. They were thin, pale, and wary. Their eyes were wide, filled with fear and confusion. They spoke a language Ethan could not understand. Lucy activated the universal translator. We thought no one would come," one of the aliens whispered. His voice was weak. His name was Trevok. He looked no older than 30 in human years. His home city had been bombed months ago, and he had survived by hiding in ruins. Ethan knelt slightly, keeping his hands visible. "We are here to help. We will not leave." Trevok's eyes widened. He looked behind him, and Ethan noticed others peeking out from broken buildings. Women carrying children, elderly aliens leaning on crutches, men who had been injured in previous attacks. All of them stared at the humans as if seeing angels for the first time. Jack immediately began inspecting the damaged structures. "We can patch the shelter, give you clean water, and get the power back online," he said. "It will take time, but it is possible." Claire knelt beside a young alien girl, no more than 8. Her leg was bandaged poorly and she was shivering. Claire gently cleaned the wound and wrapped it properly. "You are safe now," she said. The girl clung to her, eyes wide but trusting. Over the next few days, humans and aliens worked together to stabilize the settlement. Ethan organized patrols to watch for hostile groups while Lucy analyzed data about food supplies and clean water. Jack repaired machinery and restored power to a few key areas. Claire treated the sick and injured. It was slow work, but every small success brought hope. The aliens began to trust them. They shared stories of the attacks, of what had happened after the Galactic Council abandoned the sector, of the nights they went hungry and cold. Ethan listened quietly, never judging, always encouraging. One evening, as the twin suns of the planet set and bathed the ruined city in orange light, Ethan stood with Lucy on a rooftop. The air was heavy with smoke and dust. "The council does not care about them," Lucy said quietly. "They left them to die." Ethan nodded. "They make decisions based on numbers. What is worth saving, what is not. But they do not see people. They do not see hope." He looked down at the streets where Jack and Claire worked with the alien survivors to distribute food. Humanity sees both. We may not be the strongest. We may not have the largest fleet. But we will not walk away. As night fell, the humans were startled by movement in the distance. Shadows shifted in the ruins. Ethan raised his hand, signaling caution. A group of armed aliens approached. They were taller, stronger, and clearly hostile. One stepped forward and spoke, his voice amplified through a translation device. "Why are you here?" he demanded. "This sector belongs to no one. Leave now." Ethan did not flinch. "We are here to help," he said calmly. "We will not leave these people to die." The alien leader laughed harshly. "The galaxy gave up on them. Why should we care about your morality?" "Because leaving is easy," Ethan replied. "Staying is hard. We choose hard." The leader hesitated, then signaled his companions. They withdrew, muttering. Ethan exhaled slowly. This would not be the last challenge. Many would see humanity as weak and easy to push aside. But for the people they had saved, hope had already taken root. Over the next weeks, more humans arrived quietly. Supply ships, engineers, medics, and soldiers. They worked without seeking permission from the council. They rebuilt shelters, dug wells, restored power, and taught the alien children to read and write. The humans did not ask for thanks. They only asked for safety for the people they had come to protect. The alien survivors began to change. Fear slowly turned into trust. Suspicion became gratitude. Trevok, the young man who had first spoken to Ethan, began to organize local volunteers. He helped distribute water, guided repair crews, and shared what little knowledge he had of the planet. He looked at the humans not as strangers, but as a family. One night, as Ethan walked through the city, he saw small fires burning where humans and aliens gathered. They laughed quietly, shared meals, and told stories of what had been lost and what could be rebuilt. The humans had brought more than supplies. They had brought hope, courage, and the stubborn refusal to give up. Lucy joined him, holding a datapad full of new sensor readings. "The council will not like this," she said. "They will want to know why humans are here, defying orders." Ethan shook his head. "Let them worry. We do not fight for approval. We fight because it is right. That is enough." Suddenly, alarms sounded from the edge of the city. Scouts reported a small alien warband approaching, testing the humans' resolve. Ethan and his team readied themselves. They had few weapons, mostly defensive, and far outnumbered. But they had something no other species had in this sector: determination, unity, and the unwillingness to leave anyone behind. The first skirmish was tense. Human soldiers and alien volunteers worked side by side, setting traps and using the ruined buildings as cover. Bullets and energy pulses flew through the night, but the humans moved with calm precision. Each life mattered, and they refused to let any harm come to the people they had promised to protect. By dawn, the attackers had retreated. The humans had not won by strength, but by willpower and strategy. Alien survivors cheered, their voices trembling with emotion. Ethan looked at the city, scarred but standing. "This is only the beginning," he said quietly. "The galaxy may have given up, but we will not." And so, humanity stayed. They stayed when others left. They fought when others fled. They gave hope where hope had been lost. In the darkness at the edge of the galaxy, the light of humanity shone brighter than ever. The first weeks on the planet were difficult. Humans and aliens worked side by side, but the scars of abandonment ran deep. Many alien survivors had lost family, homes, and hope. They were suspicious of strangers, even those who came to help. Ethan Cole and Lucy Adams spent long hours talking to them, listening and showing that humans could be trusted. Slowly, trust began to grow. Jack Morris and Claire Bennett became heroes in small ways. Jack repaired water systems and restored power to a few damaged areas. He taught aliens to operate simple machines and fix broken equipment. Claire worked tirelessly in makeshift clinics, treating wounds, infections, and illnesses caused by starvation. Children followed her wherever she went, fascinated by her gentle ways. One morning, as Ethan walked through the market square, he saw Trevok helping an old alien woman carry water. The woman smiled for the first time in months. Trevok glanced at Ethan and nodded. It was small moments like this that made the human team feel that they were making a real difference. But danger was never far away. The abandoned sector was full of groups that had grown strong in the chaos. Some were bandits, stealing supplies from weaker survivors. Others were alien warlords, seeing the abandoned worlds as a chance to gain territory. Ethan knew that staying would mean constant vigilance. Humans were few, and the enemy was many. One evening, scouts reported a hostile group moving toward the settlement. Ethan quickly gathered a team. He chose Jack, Claire, Lucy, and a small squad of soldiers. Together they prepared defenses. Barricades were set, traps laid, and communication lines established with the alien volunteers. The humans were determined to protect the people who had come to trust them. As night fell, the enemy approached. Their ships hovered above the city, dark silhouettes against the moonlit sky. Soldiers on both sides exchanged fire, and the city shook with explosions. Humans and aliens fought together, covering each other, protecting civilians, and using clever tactics rather than brute force. Jack coordinated repairs to defensive systems, while Claire ran between injured people, treating wounds and keeping morale high. After hours of fighting, the attackers retreated. No human or alien soldier had been lost, though there were minor injuries. The settlement had survived its first major test. Trevok approached Ethan, his eyes wide. "We thought we were alone. We thought we would die. You saved us," he said. Ethan shook his head. "We are just staying. Leaving was not an option." Life in the settlement continued. Humans taught aliens skills they had never imagined learning. Children attended classes led by Lucy, learning science, math, and reading. Jack organized workshops to teach engineering, while Ethan and his soldiers trained volunteers to protect their homes. Humans were not just providing help, they were building a lasting foundation. Some of the alien survivors began to share their own knowledge. They taught humans about local plants that could heal, safe ways to travel the planet, and ways to detect storms before they became dangerous. Ethan realized that help was not one-sided. Humans were giving, but they were also learning. The partnership made them stronger. However, not everyone welcomed humans. In the distance, a larger alien warlord named Karnex watched the settlement. He was powerful and ruthless. He had conquered many worlds in the abandoned sector, believing no one would resist him. When he saw humans and aliens working together, he felt anger and disbelief. No one had ever stood against him and survived. Humans, weak in his eyes, dared to fight and protect. Karnex sent scouts to gather information. They reported back that humans had few ships, small weapons, and limited troops, but they had organized civilians and alien volunteers into a well-defended settlement. The humans had no interest in taking territory. They only protected the weak. Karnex laughed, thinking it was foolish. He decided he would crush them to set an example. Before the attack, Ethan called a meeting. He gathered all humans and alien leaders. "Karnex will come," he said calmly. "He believes we are weak. We will show him we are not. We may not have his numbers, but we have courage, unity, and the unwillingness to leave anyone behind." Lucy added, "Remember, he has strength, but we have strategy and heart. We fight together as one." Jack and Claire distributed supplies and prepared defensive positions. Even the children helped by carrying water, moving equipment, and encouraging the adults. Trevok and other aliens joined in, showing bravery they did not know they had. For the first time, everyone felt part of something larger than themselves. They were not just survivors. They were defenders of hope. When Karnex's fleet arrived, humans and aliens were ready. The battle began with small skirmishes outside the city. Ethan coordinated defenses. using damaged buildings to hide troops and create ambush points.
Lucy monitored enemy movements and predicted attacks.
Jack repaired broken weapons during the fight, keeping systems online. Claire moved through the wounded, treating injuries calmly despite the chaos. The first major clash was intense. Karnex's troops were stronger, but humans and aliens used their knowledge of the terrain to their advantage. Traps slowed the enemy, decoys misled them, and coordinated attacks surprised them. Every soldier and volunteer knew their role. They fought not for glory, not for conquest, but to protect people who could not protect themselves. Hours passed. Explosions rocked the city. Smoke and fire filled the streets. Civilians hid, but the humans made sure they were safe. By dawn, the enemy had retreated. They were defeated not by numbers, but by the determination and cooperation of humans and aliens working together. Trevok looked at Ethan with awe. "We could not have done this without you," he said. Ethan smiled. "We only stayed. We did what we had to do." As life returned to the settlement, humans continued to help rebuild. Houses were repaired, water systems improved, and food supplies increased. Jack taught aliens how to build basic machines to improve farming and construction. Claire continued teaching basic medical skills so communities could help themselves in the future.
Lucy documented everything, preparing for the day the galaxy might finally notice.
Even the children were learning bravery. Young aliens practiced basic defense drills with guidance from human soldiers. They learned that courage was not about strength but about helping others, protecting what was right, and never giving up. Humans had not only saved lives, they had inspired a new generation. One evening, Ethan stood on a hill overlooking the settlement. Fires burned in the distance where families gathered, laughed, and shared stories. Smoke from the previous battle had cleared. Humans and aliens worked together, side by side. Ethan felt a quiet pride. Humanity had not conquered anyone, but it had changed the hearts of the abandoned. It had given hope where none remained. Lucy joined him, holding a datapad showing sensor readings. "We are making progress," she said. "But Karnax will return, stronger." Ethan nodded. "We will be ready. We have learned, adapted, and grown stronger. The people we protect are no longer helpless. We fight not for ourselves, but for them. That is our strength." Weeks turned into months. The settlement grew stronger and safer. Humans trained volunteers to defend themselves, taught practical skills, and inspired courage. Alien survivors began rebuilding towns that had been destroyed years ago. Trust spread across the population. Humans had not asked for anything in return. They only stayed when others walked away. Yet the shadow of Karnax lingered. Scouts reported that he was amassing a larger fleet, preparing to crush the settlement and anyone who dared resist him. Ethan and his team knew the real test was coming. It would not be easy, and some would likely be hurt. But humanity had already shown it could endure loss, adapt, and protect those in need. The aliens now looked at humans differently. Once strangers, they were heroes. Once weak, they were examples of bravery. Once hopeless, they were hope itself. Ethan knew that no matter what came next, they would not walk away. Humanity had chosen to stand, and in doing so it had changed the future of the abandoned sector. Even as the sun set over the ruined landscape, humans and aliens continued to work. Children laughed and played among repaired streets. Families shared meals. Engineers and medics moved through the settlement, improving life. And above all, humans prepared for the next challenge, knowing that courage and unity were stronger than any fleet or weapon. The galaxy had given up on them. Humans had not dot the calm, and the settlement did not last long. Scouts reported that Karnax was approaching with a much larger fleet than before. He had spent weeks gathering troops from the abandoned sector. This time, he intended to destroy the humans and the alien survivors completely. The news spread quickly, and fear rippled through the settlement. Even the bravest volunteers felt the weight of the threat. Ethan Cole gathered his team immediately. Lucy Adams, Jack Morris, Claire Bennett, and a small group of soldiers stood with him on the command platform. Trevok and several alien leaders joined as well. Everyone knew that this would be the hardest fight they had ever faced. "We are outnumbered," Ethan said calmly, "but not outmatched. Karnax expects fear. He expects us to run. We will show him that humans do not run, and neither will those we protect," Lucy added. "We have learned from every attack so far. We know the terrain, we know the city, and we know how to work together. We fight smart, not just hard." Jack nodded, checking the repaired defensive systems. "I have reinforced the barricades, set traps along the main roads, and built decoys for the enemy ships. They will not have an easy victory." Claire moved among the volunteers, giving instructions. "Stay calm, stay together. Help each other, we protect life, not just buildings." The humans and aliens spent the next hours preparing. Children and families were moved to hidden shelters. Supply stations were stocked. Soldiers and volunteers were assigned positions along streets, rooftops, and behind barricades. Scouts patrolled the outskirts, reporting every movement from Karnax's approaching fleet. As the sun set, the enemy arrived. Ships filled the sky, larger and more numerous than the humans had ever seen. Ground forces moved in formation, heavily armed and disciplined. Karnax himself was on a massive command ship, towering above the rest. He laughed through a loudspeaker, his voice booming across the city. "Humans," he said, "you dare defy me. You have no fleet, no allies, no chance. Leave now, or be destroyed."
Ethan stepped forward, his voice steady. "We do not leave."
"We protect. We do not fight for glory but for life. And we will not walk away."
The first wave attacked immediately.
Humans and aliens fired from barricades, rooftops, and hidden positions. Explosions shook the streets. The enemy was strong, but they were unprepared for the humans' tactics. Decoys led ships into traps, and soldiers ambushed ground forces from unexpected positions. Jack worked tirelessly, repairing damaged defenses and redirecting energy to vital systems. Lucy monitored enemy movements, calling out commands and guiding volunteers. Claire ran between wounded civilians, treating injuries under fire, never stopping even when danger was close. Trevok led a group of aliens through the streets, using their knowledge of the ruined city to outflank the enemy. Civilians helped by bringing water, moving supplies, and encouraging fighters. Every person had a role, and everyone worked together. Hours passed. The first wave of Karnax's forces was pushed back. Humans and aliens held their ground, stronger than the enemy had expected. Karnax was furious. He ordered a second wave, larger and more powerful, aiming directly at the heart of the settlement. Ethan knew this wave would be the most dangerous. He gathered his leaders. "We will fight together," he said. "Every street, every building, every life counts. Stay calm, stay focused, and remember why we fight." As the second wave advanced, humans and aliens moved with precision. Soldiers used every piece of cover, and traps slowed enemy movements. Jack redirected power to shields, while Lucy guided reinforcements to weak points. Claire treated the wounded without hesitation, her calm presence inspiring courage. The battle raged for hours. Buildings shook with explosions, streets were filled with smoke, and the sky glowed from fire. Yet, humans and their allies did not falter. They moved as one. Every volunteer, soldier, and civilian played a part. Every life was valued, and every action mattered. Karnax grew frustrated. His attacks were failing. The humans were not retreating, and the alien survivors were fighting back with unexpected bravery. He could not understand it. How could a species without a large fleet or weapons stand so firmly against him? Seeing his frustration, Ethan led a small strike team to target Karnax's command ship. Using the ruined buildings as cover, they moved quickly and quietly. Jack guided them remotely, disabling some of the ship's defenses. Lucy calculated their path, predicting enemy patrols. Claire carried medical supplies in case of injury. The team reached a position near the command ship. They planted charges on key structural points, careful not to harm the city below. Then, they retreated to a safe distance. Ethan gave the order, and the charges detonated. The explosion rocked the ship. Alarms blared and Karnex's forces were thrown into confusion. Enemy soldiers on the ground hesitated, unsure how to respond. Humans and aliens seized the moment, pushing forward with coordinated attacks. The second wave began to collapse. Karnex shouted orders, but his fleet was in chaos. His attacks were repelled, his ground forces retreating. The humans had not only defended the city but had forced the enemy to fall back. It was a victory, hard-earned, and proof that courage, unity, and strategy could overcome greater numbers. After the battle, the settlement was quiet again. But this time, it was a quiet full of relief and pride. Humans and aliens began rebuilding immediately. Damaged buildings were repaired, water systems restored, and food distributed. Volunteers helped civilians, and children played among the repaired streets, their laughter a reminder of what had been protected. Trevok approached Ethan. "You saved us again," he said, his voice filled with awe. "We did not believe anyone could stand against him. You and your people showed us that courage is stronger than fear." Ethan smiled. "We did not do it alone. Every person here fought. Every life mattered. We protected what could not protect itself. That is what humans do. That is what we always do." Lucy stood beside him, "And we will continue to do it. Karnex may return, but we have proven that we will not walk away." Jack repaired a damaged generator, smiling at the children who watched. "They are learning," he said. "These kids will grow up knowing how to help, how to fight, and how to protect. They will not be afraid when danger comes." Claire treated a wounded alien woman who smiled for the first time in weeks. "Hope is alive," she said softly, "because we stayed." As night fell, Ethan walked through the streets, looking at the fires where families gathered, talking and sharing meals. The settlement had survived the greatest test yet. Humans had stood firm when the enemy expected them to fall. They had protected those who could not protect themselves, and they had done it without seeking reward or recognition. The galaxy had given up on this sector. Humans had refused to walk away. Their courage and determination had inspired not only the alien survivors but also themselves. They had proven that even in the darkest places, hope could survive, and life could flourish when someone chose to stay and fight. Karnex, far away, watched the city from his damaged fleet. He had been defeated, humiliated, and forced to retreat. He did not understand it. Humans were weak, yet they were strong. They did not rule, they did not conquer, but they fought with a courage that could not be measured in weapons or numbers. Back in the settlement, Ethan stood on a hill, looking at the lights of the city. Humans and aliens moved together, repairing, rebuilding, and celebrating life. He knew this was only the beginning. Challenges would come again. Enemies would test them, but for now, humanity had shown its true strength. It would not abandon hope. It would not leave the helpless behind, and it would fight for what was right, even when the galaxy had given up. Lucy joined him, holding a datapad with reports from scouts. "Karnex is recovering!"
"He will come again," she said. Ethan nodded.
"And we will be ready. The people we protect have learned to fight alongside us. Together we are stronger than any fleet, any weapon, any warlord. Humanity will never walk away." The fires of the settlement burned brightly that night. Humans and aliens sat together, shared meals, and told stories of survival, courage, and hope. The children laughed, running through repaired streets. Everywhere Ethan looked, he saw the proof of what humanity could do when it refused to give up. The galaxy had abandoned this sector, but humans had not. And because of that, a new legacy was being built. One that would be remembered for generations to come. After the battle with Karnex, the settlement slowly returned to life. Humans and aliens worked together to rebuild homes, repair machinery, and restore food and water supplies. Every day brought new challenges, but also new hope. The aliens had begun to see humans not just as helpers, but as leaders, not because they ruled, but because they stayed when everyone else had left. Ethan Cole walked through the streets observing the work being done. Jack Morris and his team were repairing a water plant, making it run more efficiently than before. Lucy Adams was teaching a group of young aliens about basic science, explaining how energy could be stored and used for machines. Claire Bennett moved between groups, treating minor injuries and teaching basic first aid. Trevick approached Ethan, a smile on his face. "We are no longer afraid," he said. "The children can play outside. The families can sleep without fear. It is because of you and your people."
Ethan shook his head. "We did not do this alone."
"Everyone here helped. We all protect each other. That is what makes us strong." As the weeks passed, word of humanity's actions spread to neighboring star systems. Other alien civilizations, long ignored by the Galactic Council, began to take notice. Messages arrived from small colonies asking for help, guidance, or even protection. Many had been abandoned years ago, left to fend for themselves. Now they heard of humans who refused to leave, and they dared to hope. Ethan called a council meeting with the humans and alien leaders from the settlement. "We have an opportunity," he said.
"Others need help, and we can show them that life is worth protecting. We can teach them to work together, to defend themselves, and to rebuild." Lucy added, "Our people have already learned a lot."
"If we share our knowledge, more settlements can survive. More lives can be saved. This is how we make a difference." Trevok spoke for the aliens. "We will go with you. We will help. The humans showed us courage, and now we will follow that example." Over the next few months, human teams traveled to nearby planets and colonies. They brought supplies, engineers, medics, and soldiers. They rebuilt towns, restored farms, and repaired water systems. They taught alien communities how to protect themselves, how to organize, and how to work together. Wherever humans went, hope followed. Some alien civilizations had been enemies in the past. They had fought each other for territory, food, and survival. Now, seeing humans stand for what was right, they began to cooperate. Former enemies worked together, rebuilding what had been destroyed and forming alliances. Humans did not demand loyalty or obedience. They only asked that people help each other and protect life. One day, a message arrived from a distant colony. Their systems were failing, and they were under threat from raiders. Ethan gathered a team, including Lucy, Jack, Claire, and Trevok, to travel there. When they arrived, the settlement was in ruins. Fires burned in the streets, and frightened survivors hid in cellars. The humans immediately went to work. Jack repaired power lines, restored water pumps, and built barricades. Claire treated the injured and set up a small clinic. Lucy taught children and adults how to purify water and use simple tools to repair machinery. Ethan coordinated defense plans and trained volunteers to guard the settlement. Within days, the colony was no longer helpless. They had protection, clean water, and functioning equipment. They could rebuild and survive. As humans continued their work, the Galactic Council began to take notice. They sent messages demanding explanations, questioning why humans were acting independently. Ethan responded calmly. "We do not ask permission to protect life. We act because it is right. We do not conquer. We do not demand tribute. We only stay when others walk away." Some council members were angry, fearing that humans were gaining too much influence. Others were intrigued, seeing that humans had accomplished what no other species had. Alien leaders who had once been abandoned began to speak up, praising humanity for saving them. The council could no longer ignore the human presence in the abandoned sector. Back in the original settlement, humans and aliens celebrated their success. Small festivals were held, children played, and people shared meals. Ethan looked at the crowd, feeling pride and hope. Humanity had not sought power, glory, or recognition. They had stayed when others left, and in doing so, they had changed the lives of thousands. Trevok approached him, holding a small child in his arms. "Look at them," he said. "They do not know fear. They have hope because of you." Ethan smiled. "Not because of me, because someone stayed, because humans refused to walk away. That is what matters." Over time, more alien civilizations joined the human effort willingly. They sent volunteers, supplies, and knowledge. Humans and aliens worked together to rebuild, not just settlements but communities, alliances, and trust. The galaxy had given up, but humanity had shown that life was worth protecting, even in the darkest corners. One evening, as the sun set over a repaired city, Ethan, Lucy, Jack, and Claire sat together watching children play in the streets. "We have come far," Ethan said softly. "But there is still work to do." Lucy nodded. "The galaxy is watching now. Some may support us, some may try to stop us. But the people we help will remember what we did. That is more important than any council approval." Jack leaned back, smiling. "And the humans have shown what courage can do. People will follow us, not because they have to, but because they believe in hope." Claire added, "And hope is stronger than any weapon. We have saved lives, taught skills, and inspired courage. That is more than any fleet could do." As night fell, fires burned in the streets, illuminating faces full of trust, courage, and determination. Humans had not sought recognition, but their actions spoke louder than words. Alien communities once abandoned now looked to humans as friends, teachers, and protectors. Ethan reflected on the journey so far. The galaxy had given up on this sector, but humans had refused to leave. They had faced danger, fought battles, rebuilt cities, and inspired hope. Every life they saved, every skill they taught, every alliance they formed strengthened the community. Humans had shown that even in darkness, light could shine. Trevot joined him on the hill, looking at the city below. "The galaxy may not understand yet," he said, "but they will. One day, others will see what humans did here and choose to act. They will not walk away like the council did." Ethan nodded. "We do not fight for recognition. We fight because it is right. And when others see that, they will remember it. They may even follow it." As they watched the city, humans and aliens continued working, building, and protecting. The light of hope spread from settlement to settlement. The galaxy had abandoned the sector, but humanity's courage and determination had sparked something new. A network of life, cooperation, and trust that would endure. Children laughed and played, families rebuilt their homes, and volunteers worked tirelessly. Humans and aliens learned from each other, shared knowledge, and taught the next generation that life was valuable and worth protecting. Humanity had not taken control. They had not demanded obedience. They had simply stayed when everyone else walked away. And because of that, the galaxy was beginning to change. The galaxy was slowly changing. Humans had no armies, no fleets of conquest, no desire for power. Yet their actions spoke louder than any weapon. The abandoned sectors, once lifeless and full of fear, were now alive with communities working together. Humans had taught, healed, and protected, and their efforts inspired not only the aliens they saved, but also civilizations far beyond. Captain Ethan Cole walked through the streets of the original settlement, now repaired and bustling. Children laughed as they ran through the streets. Markets were busy, homes were rebuilt, and water flowed freely through new pipes. Alien families worked side by side with humans, sharing meals, stories, and skills. The air was filled with a sense of hope that had not been seen for decades. Lucy Adams joined him, holding a data pad with reports from neighboring systems. "More colonies are asking for help," she said. "They want to rebuild, to work together. Humans have become a symbol, not a ruler, but a protector." Ethan nodded. "We never wanted to lead, only to help. But when someone stands for what is right, others follow. That is what we have done. We stayed when the galaxy walked away." Trevok, now a respected leader among his people, approached. "Your people have changed everything," he said. "We have learned to fight together, to protect life, and to trust again. We will never forget what you did." Ethan smiled. "You do not need to. You have learned to protect yourselves and each other. That is more than enough." As the months passed, humans continued to travel between settlements. Jack Morris led engineering teams, rebuilding infrastructure and teaching aliens how to use technology effectively. Claire Bennett moved between medical stations, training local medics and ensuring everyone had access to care. Lucy Adams taught science and strategy, helping communities solve problems and prepare for future challenges. Even the children were learning. Young aliens practiced basic defense drills, engineering skills, and medicine under human guidance. They were growing up knowing that life was valuable, that courage mattered, and that hope could survive even in the darkest corners of the galaxy. One day, ambassadors from other sectors arrived. They had watched the humans quietly for months, seeing how abandoned colonies had been saved and how communities had grown stronger. Many came with offers of cooperation, eager to learn from the humans' methods. Others came with curiosity, wondering how a species without fleets of warships or vast armies could inspire loyalty and hope across the stars. Ethan addressed the ambassadors calmly. "We do not act for recognition, or power, or influence. We act because it is right. We protect life, teach skills, and inspire hope. If others wish to join us, we welcome it. But we ask only that they value life and stand together." The ambassadors nodded. They had witnessed firsthand what humans had accomplished. Some had expected weakness, but what they saw was courage, compassion, and determination. They realized that humanity's strength was not in fleets or weapons, but in its refusal to abandon hope. Travok and other alien leaders worked with the humans to organize councils across the abandoned sectors. Communities shared resources, knowledge, and protection strategies. Where once fear and distrust ruled, now cooperation and trust flourished. Humans did not rule these councils. They guided them, offering advice and support while letting aliens make decisions for themselves. Ethan walked through a rebuilt town, watching a festival in the square. Music filled the air. Children danced and laughed. Adults shared food and stories. Humans had not sought reward, but they saw the joy and hope they had helped create. Jack repaired a small water pump nearby, smiling as children helped him carry tools. "They are learning," he said quietly. "The next generation will know courage, hope, and skill because of what we did." Claire handed out medical supplies to a group of alien families, her calm and gentle manner inspiring confidence. "They will care for each other," she said. "They will not forget the lessons we taught them." Lucy studied a group of young aliens working together on a small machine. "They are learning science, problem-solving, and cooperation," she said. "They will carry these skills to other settlements. Our work will spread far beyond what we see today." As the sun set over the repaired city, Ethan stood with Travok on a hill overlooking the settlement. "Look at what we have built," Ethan said. "Not by force, not by ruling, but by staying when others walked away. This is the future we hoped for." Travok nodded. "You did not just save lives. You created a legacy. The galaxy may never fully understand it, but those who live here, those who survived because of you, they will remember forever." Ethan thought of all the battles, the nights without sleep, the fear, and the hope. He thought of the families, the children, the alien communities that now thrived. Humanity had not asked for thanks, for reward, or for recognition. They had only stayed. And that choice had changed everything. Far across the sector, remnants of Carnex's forces watched quietly. They had not been defeated in the sense of total destruction, but they had been shown that humans would not back down. They had learned to respect the humans' courage, even if they did not yet understand it. The galaxy itself was beginning to notice. Other civilizations, inspired by reports of human actions, began to reconsider their own decisions. Colonies once abandoned were given aid. Alliances formed not out of fear, but out of hope and cooperation. Humanity's example spread quietly, but powerfully. In the original settlement, humans and aliens continued to celebrate life. Small festivals, shared meals, and community projects filled every day. The lessons of courage, cooperation, and hope were taught in schools, in clinics, in streets, and in homes. Humans were not rulers. They were mentors, guides, and friends.
Ethan walked through the streets one night listening to laughter and music.
Lucy joined him, holding her datapad. "Look at them," she said softly. "Everywhere we went, people learned to survive, to protect, and to hope. The galaxy is noticing. Others will follow this example." Ethan smiled. "We did not do this for recognition. We stayed when everyone else walked away. That was enough. And now, because of that, life is stronger, hope is alive, and communities will thrive. Trevok approached, holding a small child on his shoulders. One day these children will tell stories of humans who stayed when the galaxy turned away. They will learn courage, compassion, and unity because of you. Ethan placed a hand on Trevok's shoulder. We only did what we had to do. Humanity refused to walk away. That is what made the difference. The galaxy gave up, but we did not. Over the next years, the network of rebuilt settlements grew. Humans continued to travel between planets, helping, teaching, and inspiring. Alien civilizations once abandoned became self-sufficient, strong, and united. The galaxy had not expected humans to make a difference, but through courage, unity, and simple determination, humanity had changed the course of history. One evening, Ethan stood on a hill overlooking the first settlement he had saved. Fires burned in the streets below where children played and families celebrated. Aliens and humans worked side by side, not as rulers and subjects, but as equals. Lucy, Jack, Claire, and Trevok stood beside him. "This is the legacy," Ethan said softly. "Not weapons, not fleets, not power. The legacy is courage, compassion, and refusing to give up. The galaxy may forget the Council's orders, the wars, and the chaos, but it will remember what happens when someone stays and protects life." Trevok smiled. "The galaxy may have given up, but humanity did not. That will be remembered forever." Ethan nodded, looking at the city below, and then to the stars beyond. "We stayed, we protected, we taught, we inspired. The galaxy is stronger now, not because of weapons, but because hope was given a chance to survive. Humanity refused to walk away, and that is all that matters." As night fell, the settlement glowed under the twin moons. Humans and aliens slept peacefully, knowing that life was safe, children were learning, and hope was alive. Humanity's actions had created a new beginning. The galaxy had turned its back, but humans had chosen to stay. They had fought, healed, taught, and inspired, and in doing so they had created a legacy that would last for generations. Humanity had shown the true strength of their species, the courage to do what is right, even when no one else would. And because of that choice, life endured, hope flourished, and the galaxy would never forget the humans who refused to walk away.